So now I'm going to talk about the character Abraham. Okay, so we are very familiar with the story of Abraham, how God changed his name from Abram to Abraham, and in the same chapter he changed the name of Sarai to Sarah. Okay, so we know that Abraham means father of many, and God said that he's changing his name to Abraham because he's going to be the father of many nations. Because literally he said, I have made you the father of many nations. Okay, so but at this time when when God was changing his name, he was not the father of any. He was the father of Ishmael, but remember that the promise was supposed to be by Sarah and not by Hagar. Okay, so he didn't have any child by Sarah. And God said, I'm going to make you father of many nations. I'm going to make you father of many nations. And then he named him Abraham. So after then, that was when he now had Isaac. Okay, so we know that already. Then with Sarah, the same thing. Sarah, God said, I'm changing your name I'm going to change her name from Sarai to Sarah. Okay, so but there are a lot of lessons to learn with this Abraham and Sarah story. Okay, so with regards to Abraham, first of all, here we see again that that the name God gave to Abraham was more prophetic. It was more something to do with the future, something to do with purpose, because it said, I have made you. Okay, so that he actually mentioned the purpose with which he made Abraham. Okay, so then he now called him the name. This was actually the scripture that made the New Testament writer to say that God calls the things that be not as though they were, because God called Abraham father of many nations. He called forth that when he actually in the reality, in the real sense, that is not what he is. Okay, so he called him by what he proposed him to become. Okay, so now we see where Adam learned this from, when he learned that you are supposed to call someone by, or Eve, his wife, by the name that is supposed to help her fulfill purpose, rather than the name surrounding circumstance of his birth. Okay, so one other lesson we learn here is that when there is a name alongside is a purpose. I've mentioned that sometime earlier. I said that with Jesus, the angel gave a name and a purpose. John the Baptist's name and purpose. With Abraham also, name and purpose. Okay, so where there is a name alongside is a purpose and the course of life. Okay, so there's that. Now another thing we learn here is that God gives the name because he gives the purpose. Okay, so meaning that by the time if God happen to have told you you need a name change, or along the course of this video you realize that no, you really need to change your name, then you see that what you're supposed to do is you are supposed to go to God for a name change. Okay, for the name that that you are supposed to be called, because well, he's the one that gives the purpose, so he's the one that knows the perfect name that will help drive that purpose to reality, right? Okay, so there's that. Now another thing he learned here is that the man or the father has authority over the wife or daughter, except with widows. Okay, the thing is, the man has authority over the wife. What I'm saying is that if you look at this at Abraham and Sarah's story of name change, you see that when God told Abraham, God said to Abraham that you shall no longer be called Abram, but you shall be called Abraham. Okay, so but with Sarah, he didn't say Sarah shall no longer be called, rather he said you shall no longer call her this, you shall call her this, right? So he told Abraham that he is the one to call Sarah, meaning that he has authority over Sarah. He is the one that will have to prophetically speak over Sarah's life. Okay, giving Abraham authority, just like with Adam. Remember that Adam was the one that gave the name to Eve, and Adam was the one that had to prophetically speak the name to Eve before Eve was able to fulfill purpose. So here we see that again, confirming the fact that God has put the man head over the woman. And then there's another scripture, you could look it up, it's on your screen right now. You see how it is that God has actually placed the father authority over the daughter, the husband over the wife. And I see that in scripture, the only place I noticed that this woman stands alone is when she is either widowed or divorced, or I believe also orphaned. Okay, so you could look that up and you see uh how that goes about. Okay, so there's that. Then another thing we learn here is that one of the ways you need a name change is when you are blessed in a lot of areas except in a particular area. Okay, so because at this time Abraham was actually blessed. He was already rich. Okay, and so meaning that he this being rich or wealth doesn't necessarily mean that you are fulfilling purpose. Well, we know that a lot of us in this country, or even many other countries, we know that when they say what is your purpose in life, the first thing you think, I just want to make money. Everybody just want to make money. Okay, so making money obviously with this is not fulfilling purpose, right? So you can be rich and you still not fulfill purpose, because Abraham was rich at this time and yet he was not fulfilling purpose, right, until God changed his name. Okay, so one of the ways this is showing us that one of the ways and I'm emphasizing one of the ways, because by the time we get to some other Bible characters, you see that there are some other ways to know if you need a name change. So one of the ways you know you need a name change is if you have like prayed and prayed and you have done it all. Okay, in many areas you see how it is that your prayer just gets answered, you get things at the snap of your fingers, but when it comes to one particular thing, you are just struggling in one particular thing or one particular area, you just see yourself struggling, or you see that it is a cycle, a continuous cycle, okay, of repeating itself in your life. Okay, so with Abraham it's a child. Okay, with Adam it's a child. With Jacob, you see how it is different. It's neither a child nor is it wealth. Okay, so it's just different for different people. So but with Abraham's story, we see here that is how you one of the ways you know if you actually need a name change. Okay, so another thing is that you can with this story, what you can learn again with this story, that you can actually be saved and still not fulfill purpose. Okay, so because at this time that God changed Abraham's name, Abraham was already saved. Okay, that won't be the perfect term to use for Abraham. Okay, but let's just say it like that. Okay, so at this time when God was changing Abraham's name, he was already saved. He was righteous. He was already working with God. He was already in a relationship with God. He's speaking to God. God is speaking to him. Okay, prior to the time that God changed his name. So meaning that you see, some people can actually say that, well, I'm saved. I don't need a name change. God can bless me when He's ready to bless me, or God can bless me any other way. Okay, so but if that is true, it means that God didn't have to change Abraham's name. God could have just blessed him with a child without changing his name. So meaning that you can actually be saved and still not be able to fulfill purpose because of your name. Okay, so we see that with Moses as well, but we'll go when we get to that of Moses. You see what I'm talking about. Okay, so we can be saved and still not fulfill purpose. Okay, so but let me say this: it doesn't mean that the right name can save you. Okay, and it doesn't mean with the right name can even help save you. Okay, but the wrong name I don't think the wrong name is going to do any much good, whether you are saved or not. Okay, it's not going to help fulfill purpose. Okay, so that's that. Then we also learn here that your life will definitely answer to your name. Okay, so what we see here is that your life will have to, because people are calling you this name. So it's just like when you call somebody a name, the person answers. So when you are called a particular name, your destiny answers. It kind of forms the pathway, the course of your life. Okay, that's one thing with names. It tends to form the course of your life. Yes, so you see that you see that even more when we get to the life of when we get to the story of Gideon. Okay, so that's one thing with names. Names are very prophetic. They form the course of your life. Now, one other thing we learn with that of Abraham is that you see the fact that Abraham, because some people might be like, well, I kind of understand now, names are important. Oh, but I'm too old. I'm 40, I'm 60. I don't think I'm too old to change my name now. I don't think there's any need. Let's just brush it aside. But here with this Abraham story, we see that actually Abraham was about 99 years old at this time when God changed his name. So it's even possible that God will when if you do change your name, God will actually extend your life. It's a chance. Okay, there's a chance that God will even extend your life in order for you to fulfill that purpose, because Abraham was 99 at this age, like 99, to have a child. And then we see how it is that afterwards he even had more children with another wife after Sarah died. So you see that it's never too late. Okay, so that's that about Abraham. Let's move on to the next Bible character now.